up, guys? Tim Little, welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today is story time. Hopefully in the last couple days you guys have got to see or watch some of those epic smallmouth videos that we put out. For those who haven't, long story short, a couple weeks ago, a month or two ago, I got invited on an epic smallmouth trip, guys trip, back to Michigan. If you guys haven't seen those videos, I'll put a link to those videos right up here. But we caught some epic smallmouth over 6 pounds, crystal clear water, just a great time. But today is story time. Like I said, you guys love hearing these stories. We get the requests all the time. You know, the giant fish catch stories, the epic fail stories, all those. So today I'm going to tell you the story of the craziest storm that I have ever been in while fishing. Those of you guys that are familiar with Michigan and that part of the United States, you guys understand these summer months, you get those storms that kind of evolve very quickly, move in, move out, they do their thing and they're done. And it was quite common for the week that we were out there. You know, we'd have storms come in for a few hours and blow through and we were all good. But this storm was quite a bit different. It ended up doing about a little over $7,000 of damage to my buddy Jared's boat. We almost sunk it. We almost got hit by lightning multiple times. We had water spouts chasing us and hurricane type wind. We had sustained wind, mid to high 60s, but we had gusts 75 to 80 miles an hour, and it just destroyed the lake in a matter of minutes. Like I said, the craziest storm I've ever been in. And that's the story I'm going to tell you guys today. The day started off awesome. I was on my buddy's boat. His name's Jared Caesar, and Coop and Greg were on a different boat, and we had a third boat that was on a nearby lake doing their thing. They were also fishing for smallmouth. Day started out great, sunny, shorts, t-shirt weather. We were throwing swim baits. I caught some walleye. I caught some good smallmouth. Jared caught some good smallmouth. The day was looking up. We were figuring out a pattern. You know, it was a different lake. The water wasn't nearly as clear as those past videos, but you could still see 10 or 12 foot of visibility, and those fish were holding on that transition, the where you couldn't see anymore, that depth change and isolated rock piles. That was our pattern, and we were catching them on swim baits. So, but getting back to this storm, you know, we were fishing throughout the day. Like I said, we're starting to figure out these fish, and then all of a sudden the weather starts changing. You know, the sun kind of went away. These storms just out there, you guys know, like I said, they just evolve, and it just started getting cloudy. The wind started swirling. Little did we know it was going to be on us within minutes. Here we are, we're fishing, we're having a great time, and you could just see this wall of tumbling clouds, like this iridescent, eerie looking blue-gray kind of clouds. You could see the lightning flashes in it, and it was headed our way. Looking at the radar, it looked like it was gonna miss us, but when I'm up there fishing and looking at that wall coming across, it just seemed like it was gonna hit us. And we ended up getting a text from Brandon and Steve that were on the other lake, and it said, "Did you guys make it off the water?" And we're like, "Make it off the water? Something happened? Is something we didn't know about?" Well, little did we know that they had already been hit by that same storm that was gonna hit us. And a few minutes later, we're packing up our gear, pulling the trolling motor, strapping the rods down. We've seen a bunch more lightning strikes. We realized that it was time to go. And our plan was to run with the storm, get across the lake, put all of our stuff away, put our rain gear on, batten down the hatches, and then head for the boat ramp. Well, we get a text from those guys again that says, "This is really bad. Hope you guys are okay." Now we're like, uh-oh, you know, we need to go. Jared's got a 20 or 21 foot champion with a 250 on it, and we're running across this lake. I have my GoPro on a little bit. We're running across this lake full speed, and I kid you not, that storm outran us. Before we could run the few miles to get to the other shoreline, that storm was on top of us. We had waves blowing past us. We were in full-on panic mode. Now, we had met up with Eric and Greg earlier in the day. We had a couple shots with some fish and stuff, and as you guys know, Eric runs that awesome flats boat. It's like a Kevlar boat. This thing is sweet. It's bad to the bone. It's awesome. It's made for the flats down there in Florida and stuff, but don't know really how it's going to handle the big waves and this storm. We had been separated. They were fishing a part of the lake, we were fishing a different part of the lake, and this storm hit us, right? And we run across the lake, the storm passes us, we're just looking for shelter. We're looking for cover. It's raining cats and dogs. It is absolutely pouring, and we pull right into this dock. It was a long dock that ran right to this nice beach area with a big house, and there was also a covered dock that we were hoping that we could seek shelter underneath. We get to the dock, it's pouring down, everything's soaked. My camera gear is still all out. It eventually gets ruined, but we tie his boat up to the dock. And you guys are probably seeing some of this footage right now. In a matter of less than 10 minutes, I'd say 5 to 7 minutes, it went from slick calm to what you're seeing now. We were just trying to seek shelter. We're on this dock, lightning's crashing around. Like I said, there was water spouts chasing Coop, and eventually I got their footage, so I'm gonna overlay some of this footage in there, but you can see some of these water spouts chasing them. Crazy, man, crazy weather. And so we're on this dock, and we're trying to get underneath this covered awning on the dock so we could be safe. But I quickly realized that it's a metal dock, metal roof. All this lightning is just crashing down around us, and I realized it wasn't safe. So I told Jared, hey, let's go run to the backyard. Hey, let's get on the yard. Run down the dock into the backyard, and we seek cover in these tall trees. That boat's gonna get that came in fast. I hope it don't jack that boat up. I hope Coop's okay. Yeah. And we look up and we just see these trees swaying, the rain's coming down, and thought to myself, probably not smart that we're standing underneath these big trees with this wind gust, right? I'm thinking of branches breaking, trees toppling. So I tell Jared, hey, let's go to the backyard.
Dude, let's go under. We going to that house? Yeah. Whew.
They got motion detectors.
Oh, that's fine.
house that we got to seek shelter for, thank you. No one was there. I think maybe it was a summer home or something, but thank you. We hid out under their awning on their back porch, and they had 6-inch gutters on their house, and the water was actually, it was raining so hard that the water was overflowing off the roof, off the gutters. I've never seen it rain that hard. It was truly amazing. So we're sitting there, and now I'm starting to worry, dude, I hope Coop's all right. You know, he's in that boat, Greg's out there, I hope they got off. You know, we're in a big bass boat, they're in that flats boat. And then I realized I don't have my cell phone. I asked Jared, hey, you have your cell phone, let's get a hold of Greg. He's like, no. We had left them in the boat. In the hurry to get off of that boat, out of the lightning, we forgot our cell phones. At this point, we were soaked already, right? You know, between the run to the dock, standing in the trees, I mean, we're soaked. So I said, Jared, you know, let's go back to the boat. Let's check on the boat, make sure it's not sunk, and get our cell phones so we could check in with Coop and Greg. Luckily, we did. We head back out to the dock, and Jared's Champion is halfway full of water. What had happened was the wind was so bad, it was pushing these waves, crashing these waves over the cowling of the motor and filling the boat with water faster than his 1,000-gallon a minute pumps could pump the water out. So here we have this boat tied up, halfway filled with water. You know, our stuff's ruined. It's just floating around. And I said, Jared, I've seen this before. We need to get this boat off of this dock, otherwise we're going to sink this boat. So we had to jump in the water. We had to jump in the lake. And at this point, the boat is just, every wave, it's just crashing against this dock, right? And that's what eventually led to the $7,000 of damage to Jared's boat. But we jump in the water. I'm holding the backside, he's in the front side, and we're trying to push this boat off of this dock, right? And waves are hitting us in the face, hitting us in the back, knocking us over. And big bass boats aren't easy to push around as it is, let alone when there's these waves crashing in, right? So we're doing everything we can to keep this boat off of the dock, but to spin it so we can get the bow facing towards the waves, not the stern, not the rear, the back of the boat, right? So we're thinking if we get the front end of the boat facing the waves, that it'll just kind of raise up and do its thing, and we won't sink this boat. So eventually we get this boat spun around. I'm in between the boat and the dock getting crushed. Luckily, I don't know how I didn't break a rib or something. Jared, the same thing, you know. But in hindsight, we're in this lake with lightning hitting around, and it probably wasn't very smart, but it is what it is. So anyways, we get this boat spun around, we get our phones, and we don't have service. We can't get a hold of the two other guys. So we sit under this house and we wait out this storm. And luckily, this storm blew through in a matter of minutes. It was probably only 20 or 30 minutes, but it was intense. It was, we had gotten several alerts on our phone in the meantime about seek shelter, severe thunderstorms, lightning. It was pretty bad. So we wait out the storm. Like I said, about 20 or 30 minutes go by, and the storm starts letting up, right? You can see the lake the waves aren't crashing as bad as they were, the wind, the trees aren't bending as much as they were, and we decide that, hey, it's better to get this boat off of this dock and go out into the lake and ride these waves than sit here and let this boat just get destroyed and torn up on this boat, or on this dock. So we jump in the boat, and at this point, I mean, we got waves crashing over the bow, right? We're going like this, and at one point I'm actually talking to the camera, and there's waves crashing over the front.
That was insane. That was on us so fast. I was talking to Jared and saw that front coming, looked at the radar, and it was red. And luckily we found a vacant house we could take shelter in, but almost sunk the boat. I don't know if you guys saw that. Don't ever park your boat with the back end towards the waves. This is gnarly.
Welcome to Northern Michigan.
Well, I think we should get our life jackets on.
It was absolutely crazy. I've never had a storm come in and outrun a full-speed bass boat and just dump and destroy. I mean, when we eventually got off of the lake, there was down power lines, down tree branches. Coop and Greg, they survived. They didn't have any boat damage, but hopefully by now you guys have seen some of their footage of them outrunning that wall of storm. You'll see some of the lightning crashes right behind them, lightning strikes, the water spouts. They eventually pulled into this little channel, and they got shelter in a bathroom. They actually beached the boat, put the power poles down, and ran and got into the bathroom and waited out the storm there. Crazy thing that they told us about that was that channel that they ran into, all over the list in the video, but the channel that they ran into, when that storm eventually came through that area, it actually sucked all the water out of that channel because the storm surge, the wind had pushed all the water from the lake towards our direction, sucked that water out, and then eventually it came back in. But just shows you just the power of Mother Nature. And you know, what did I take away from this? You know, always wear your life jacket. There was a couple times where I realized that I didn't have my life jacket on, and at any time, you know, I could have went in the water. So always wear your life jacket. But this storm, man, it was crazy. I wish I could have got more footage of it, but in that panic mode, in that adrenaline rush, you're not hitting record, right? You're just making sure that you don't get struck by lightning, you don't wreck a boat, you don't sink a boat, and you're worrying about your friends. So anyways, guys, that is my story. That is the craziest storm I've ever been in. It was just recent, you know, like I said. Again, luckily, that storm didn't last long. You know, it's not like these hurricanes we got going on right now that last several days. Luckily, it was just about an hour or so. But crazy thing about that lake, when we went back out on the lake and figured, you know, I told you, we figured that it would be better out on the lake going against the waves than beating up against the dock. We ended up running to a cove, and we got there. It wasn't that big of a deal. You know, Champions are great rough riding boats. Great rough water boats. They deal with those big waves great. That's why I have one here on Clear Lake. But we got to this spot, and we were there for only 8 or 10 minutes, and the lake turned glass calm.
All right, so it's been, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 minutes since we got here, and the lake is now perfectly calm. Check this out. Such a nice day here in northern Michigan. We're gonna fish some of these docks, see if we can get a glide bait bite. That was insane. Luckily, Jared's got like 1,000 gallon a minute. Here. We're all dry, kind of. My Tackle Warehouse bag is filled with water. All my GoPro batteries and accessories were underwater. But hey, let's go fishing.
It's like the storm moved in, moved out, like it never happened. You know, people's canopies are ripped off their docks and stuff, but as far as the lake itself, nothing happened. So, you know, what are you gonna do when you're out there? You know, you're miles from home, you're already wet. So Jared and I decided, let's keep fishing. We tied on some topwater baits, and the fish were chewing. We caught some big smallies on whopper ploppers, Jared stuck a couple big ones on a spook, and caught some largemouth, caught some smallmouth. Just a great day, but that storm, man, was crazy. Luckily, we all made it out unscathed. Jared's boat, on the other hand, cost a lot of money. There you guys have it. That is the craziest storm I've ever been while fishing, and probably the worst storm I've ever been in, period. So I hope you guys like it. If you guys like that, remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Matt and I were doing 3 videos a week. You guys love story time. It's kind of different for us because you know, I just think of another day fishing. But if you guys want these stories, leave those comments down below. We'll continue to tell these stories. If you guys want our clothing, you know, it is fall time. We have the sun shirts available. We have the hoodies available, the hats available. Email will be down below in the video description. Our gear, what we were catching them on, all that sort of stuff will be down in the video description as well. But as always, guys, we appreciate the support, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.